Hey everybody, I'm Eugene Driscoll. Welcome to Navel Gazing, the Valley Indie podcast, vlogcast. I don't know how you're consuming this media. That's on you. I write for the Valley Independent Sentinel online news site. We launched in 2009, and it's me and a freelancer. Right, my freelancer can write 4 stories a week. We cover 3 towns. I can't always get to places and do fun things because sometimes I'm sort of a slave to my desk or whatever's happening in terms of local government and politics. But I do try to use this podcast or this medium, Zoom and whatever, to highlight some of the great nonprofits in the lower Naugatuck Valley of Connecticut. And one of the best out there and the nicest is Adam's House in Shelton. And they have an event coming up tomorrow. We're recording this on September 15th. They have one event coming up Thursday, the 16th. And then they have another event, a big special fun event coming up later in the year. So with that, why don't we go around the room, starting with Allison. I'll just have you introduce yourself. So viewers, if they're listening audio only, they get a sense of matching voices to your name.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Wysota, the founder and executive director here at Adams House.
And then we'll go down to Arlene.
I'm Arlene Greco. I'm the director of development for Adams House.
Welcome.
Thank
And
you.
then Sarah.
Yes, my name is Sarah Domena, and I am the Director of Community Outreach.
Okay, thanks again, everybody, for being here. I do appreciate your time. Also, no notice. We just set this up on a day's notice, so I definitely appreciate it. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the open house tomorrow?
Sure. Why not? That's
Go
tomorrow.
right ahead.
That's first on the calendar. So yeah, so that's our event tomorrow. It's our 5th year anniversary. 5 years ago on September 9th, actually, we had our ribbon cutting. So we've been at this for 5 years. I can't believe it, actually. So it's
well, boo on me.
I'm such a teacher, so I'm responding to your hand up immediately.
Because, well, I assume, the worst mistake you could make in journalism, local journalism or whatever you're doing, is to assume. And I'm assuming everybody knows what Adams House is. So let's start there. Talk about what it is for somebody who might not be familiar.
Absolutely. So Adams House is a grief education center here in Shelton, across from City Hall and Apple Rehab. We offer grief support services. It really is peer support for children 5 to 18. And that could be any loss. It's a loss of a parent, a grandparent, a friend. We really say any, families are so mixed and there's such a melting pot. So we say if the loss affects a child and they need support, they are welcome to come to Adams House. Our program is completely free to these families, which is why our events that we do, our upcoming Dancing with the Stars and the Great Give, where you and I always see each other, those are so important to us because, we work really hard at keeping this program free.
And I'm not supposed to editorialize, but I will anyway. Hey, it's my website, my meeting, darn it. But I can't think of a more pure and beautiful mission for a nonprofit than what Adams House does. It's really a beautiful thing. So let's talk about the open house. If I'm interested in these services, in the programs, what can I do tomorrow?
Arlene, here's what you're.
Sure. Well, we are inviting the community to come and learn all about what Adams House does firsthand. One of the things that I really want to stress is when you walk into Adams House, people have the same response. Instead of walking into a clinical feeling place, they feel like they're walking into some place that envelops them and is like a home. And that's so important when you're grieving and when you're going through the processes. So tomorrow is an opportunity between 4 and 7 p.m. for people to drop in for 10, 15 minutes, whatever. But it's also an opportunity to get a tour of Adams House, learn about our mission firsthand, get to know the staff, the volunteers. There'll be some volunteers here. We definitely have opportunities for volunteering. So if people come, they'll learn about what we do, and they may decide that they're going to volunteer. They may decide this is someplace I really want to support so that we can continue to offer these services at no cost to Connecticut families. So like I said, between 4 and 7 tomorrow, we are very lucky that we're going to have Chef Hector, and he owns Sabores Zerlina, and he is actually going to be making tacos. So, you know, he's volunteering his time, and he walked in. He's another person that walked in and said, wow, as soon as I walk in here, I can feel it is different and it's wonderful. So, you know, we're inviting you to come over. There's no cost, of course, it's an open house. If you'd like a tour, let us know. We'll give you a tour and an overview.
Yeah, and it's also in addition to having like a beautiful mission, it's a beautiful structure. It's a house. It is, right. It's not a clinical thing per se. Yeah, and what's the address?
241 Quorum Avenue.
Quorum Avenue, right over there in Shelton. And then just before we move ahead, in terms of your social media, where can people go and find out a little more about Adams House?
Well, they website houseconnecticutct.org. Just search Adams House and you're going to be able to find us. And that's a great place to follow us, you know, get to see what's happening. We post a lot. Sarah posts a lot. So
hold on one second. Sure. You actually froze.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think right when she was giving that important bit of information, she cut out. Not that it wasn't all important, but
right. Yeah. So we didn't catch the social media stuff and the website.
Sarah, do you want to talk about that?
Yep,
Sarah,
sure. So this is actually, it's www.adamshousect.org is our website. And you can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Our handle is @AdamsHouseCT.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Apologize to you, Arlene. That's probably on my end somehow. I'm sure that's my fault. But this is a random question. I mean, we've got the COVID pandemic going on for a long time now. And, you know, I'm on social media a lot. So one thing about like running an online publication where you have to answer to people on social media, basically it's 24 hours a day of reacting to the first thing that comes into people's minds, just an instant reaction, which is often anger. And it feels like that's increased as the pandemic goes on. In terms of grieving and helping children in the Adams House program, has grieving changed at all, or the process at all? Is it more difficult now with everything that's going on in COVID-19? That's a half-formed question, but I'll just throw it to Allison for an answer.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So two things are happening. One is families appreciate and are very vocal in wanting to do their grief support in person. So grief support over Zoom is like just the furthest thing from their mind. They really, you know, we're humans. We like human interaction. We like to be together. And when you're grieving, you do want to be in that space. So that's why Adams House, we worked really, really hard to create a safe space during COVID. We ran a group in the fall and we did everything possible. You know, we did your masks, your Purell, we had windows open. You weren't allowed to stay in a space more than 15 minutes. We kept moving. We had fans going for circulation. We took these kids outside. And you know what? You know, I'm proud to say that we completed a program with not one case of COVID, and these kids got to be together. Is it ideal? No, because you're talking behind a mask, but it is better than being on Zoom for these families who are hurting. The anger piece, yeah, I mean, there is anger. It depends on when the loss happened. We've had a couple of families through. And so on top of the pain of their loss, there is that anger for maybe how the death shook out during COVID. They weren't allowed to be in the hospital. They didn't have great interaction with the doctors. So did that impact my care? So then there's maybe a little added guilt, like, should I have bullied my way in? Could I have bullied my way in? And then get to the funeral, and these families, these poor grieving families, you know, it's heartbreaking because they didn't also get what we're so used to having, which is a funeral in person, and having that support and having that large support to help you through the early days of your loss. So, you know, grief is isolating in and of itself, and now add COVID, and it's just made for a very delayed grieving process. And so to your point, anger has kind of cropped up, you know, as that, like, where was my family, but they couldn't be here, but I'm still angry at them for not being here, but they couldn't travel, you know, so it's kind of all just a muddled mess. And part of the work we do is kind of, you know, untangling that and saying, you know, look, you know, this all happened, but like, how do we get you, you know, moving forward through that? And you know, we got to talk about the anger and process it.
Yeah, and to me, and again, I'm editorializing, but it sounds like the mission of Adams House is more important than ever, considering everything we're all going through and all the loss that's happened since March 2020. And that's also why it's important to support a nonprofit like this. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's not like these nonprofits.
I wish it did. I wish it did.
It's always a struggle. It's always a struggle.
Always. Yeah.
And so that brings us to, but there's so many creative ways, and I, you know, it's one of the many reasons I have tons of respect for all the Valley nonprofits, and I'm just humbled by all the work they do, because they're so creative in their fundraising efforts. And that brings us to Dancing with the Stars. Who wants to introduce that topic?
Not me. I'm done. Sarah's
up there unmuting herself like a pro.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Eugene, for having us on today. Really appreciate it. So Dancing with the Stars, as you mentioned, this is a super important fundraiser for us this year. You know, every fundraiser is important, but oh, I thought you lost me for a second. This is even more because this year, because of 2020, obviously, you know, with COVID restrictions, we had to cancel. So this would have been our second annual last year. It's now this year. So we're having our second annual Dancing with the Stars Gala. It's going to be on Friday night, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we are going to have it at Birchwoods, which is in Woodbridge. It's an absolutely beautiful facility, and we're so thankful that we are able to, they were able to welcome us back this year. So our tickets are $80 each, and they are currently on sale. You can purchase individual tickets. If you wanted to sit with you and a group of your friends, we do also offer a table. You just have to buy that table in advance, but the tables are that same price at $80 per ticket for a table of 12.
Now, who's dancing? Who's going to be embarrassing them. I mean, not maybe they're great.
You dancers. Are. No, we tried to get you.
Yeah, I know. You guys want that viral video of somebody. Yeah, no, nobody needs to see that.
Next year, listen, we have not given up on you. So you're not off the hook yet.
Who you got, though? Who are the more talented people that are just... Go ahead.
We have first I want to introduce our MC. So we have everyone's favorite Valley Chamber President, Bill Parcell, is going to be joining us again this year. He was a dancer at our previous, and this year he's going to be co-emceeing with one of our, we like to say it's going to be a star-studded evening, because we have Ron Claiborne. He is retired from the ABC News after 32 years, and he is actually going to be co-emceeing with Bill. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Bill from the Chamber, he is a natural MC. That guy, he should have his own talk show somewhere. He's great.
He might, you never know. He might even bust out in a little dance from his Singing in the Rain routine from 2018. So he's full of surprises. You never know. And I also want to mention that tomorrow evening, we're going to be premiering our 5-year anniversary video. And Ron Claiborne is actually narrating that video also for us. So you can come and check that out tomorrow night too. So we're super excited about that. And lots of thanks to one of our volunteers, Lee Camlet, who has done all the coordination and editing for that video too. So our cast, so we have the Director of Community Relations at Aquarian Water, and he is also a local politician, George Logan, is going to be dancing with Lidiana Vega, and she is from one of our Fred Astaire partners. I believe she's from Fred Astaire Orange. We have Lonnie Richards, and she is the CEO and president of Service After Service here in Shelton. So she is going to be dancing with Ned Pavlovic, and he is also from Fred Astaire Orange. We have our good friend Paul Tavares, who is a lifelong Stratford resident, a retired Hamden firefighter, EMT, and he also sits on the Stratford Rotary in the Stratford Town Council. And he is going to be dancing with our friend Allison Bettini, and she is going to be representing Fred Astaire Hamden. We have Katie Skowronski and Eric Tesurio. Katie is a huge supporter of Adams House, and she also has a family business of KFC in the Derby and other Valley locations. And Eric is joining us from Fred Astaire of Hamden. We have Charles Stango, who is the supervisory assistant at the state attorney's office in Milford. And he is going to be dancing with Amanda Mador, and she is our Fred Astaire Canton partnership. And last, but certainly not least, we have Adams House being represented by one of our program families. And her name is Jill Rutsky, and she is going to be dancing with Stefan Zuber, and he is our reigning champion from 2019. He won the People's Choice Award and the Judge's Choice Award. So she is going to be partnering with him. So you definitely want to make sure that you check this out. If for some reason you cannot attend the event, that's okay. We are really looking for people to help support our mission through voting. So voting is $10 each, and you can vote as many times as you would like for your favorite pair, or, you know, if you can't decide on a favorite pair, cast a vote for everybody. It's okay. Because all of those proceeds are going to go directly towards our programming, so we can continue to offer our programming completely free of charge. And they can purchase their tickets, and they can do all of their voting through www.adamshouse.org/DWTS2021.
Yeah, and then after this is over, make sure you send me that URL as well, and I'll put it in the text after this.
Absolutely would be happy to. Yep.
And I know this is a huge fundraiser. I mean, just the amount of people you've gathered, this is big, and it must take a lot of work just to put this together logistically. So hats off to whoever over there is spearheading that effort. And it's really important to support nonprofits. I mean, here they are talking. You can see them. You can see the look in their eyes. It's obviously a passion. It's another reason why I respect nonprofits in the Naugatuck Valley. You can feel it. You can feel the passion and commitment to the mission. So thank you very much. Before I let you go, is there anything else that anybody wants to add that perhaps I haven't raised?
I would also like to add a couple more things about the event, if you don't mind.
Sure, Sarah, go ahead.
So not only are we going to be having our wonderful performance that evening, the $80 ticket also gets you open beer and wine for that night. We have a surf and turf dinner, and you also will have the opportunity to participate in our silent auction, and we're in the process of getting some really amazing prizes. We have a trip in the works that for Smuggler's Notch in Vermont. We have a PlayStation 4 that we're going to be auctioning off. And Arlene, if you want to mention a couple other things, I know she's got the running list, but so that is
jet tickets. We have jet tickets in the club section. That's living large if you're a jet for all the jet fans out there.
And I'm sure you mean PlayStation 5, right? You said, I'm sure you're saying you need the new generation is 5 as a father of a gamer.
You know, Eugene, this is also an opportunity. If there's a business out there that wants to donate an item, an auction item, or a program, we do have program ads. And we range from like $10 to $100. So, you know, and sponsorship. So have them, you know, reach out to us, because there's still an opportunity. If you have a business and you want to show a great item that you sell, you know, that's an opportunity for you to do that. So just reach out to us.
Right, okay, we were sold out. We were sold out the first year, and we are on track to do that again. So it will be a very good audience for said business to be in our program. We cap out at 200 people. So
yeah, so come tomorrow night and have a margarita, have a taco, and we will definitely be having some volunteers here to be selling tickets for Dancing with the Stars, and they can cast their votes right there and then too if they would like to do that while they're watching our 5-year video and celebrating with us. So hope to see everyone at both of those events.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on. And if you're watching or listening to this, please support Adams House in Shelton. They do a lot of good, obviously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thanks, Eugene.
Thanks again, Eugene. You better get those dance shoes ready for 22.